Hey YouTube people, Fidel here. I know it's been a while since my last video, but thought I'd try something a little different here. And I recently picked up this external mic for my GoPro, so I thought why not do a review on this H&R Super Sport springs for my 2011 Mercedes C300. And so here it is. Yeah, here's my car as you all know it. Approximate drop according to H&R is 1.5 inches in the front and 1.3 inches in the rear. So yeah, if you can, I don't know if the lighting is good enough, but you can tell that the front is definitely a little bit lower than the rear. Good thing to take note is my wheel and tire setup, which is a staggered 19-inch 8.5 in the front and 9.5 in the rear. I've got two 35 tires in the front and two 65 30 in the rear. And for those of you asking or wondering about rubbing, I do not rub on this setup. Of course, the offset is very important, and I'm running 45 in the front and 48 in the rear, which is basically a perfect numbers for my car. So no rubbing, just a flush kind of setup, no fender work at all. And I've had at most about 3 people, including me, inside the car. So yeah, that's how she sits from the side. I hope that my backyard is pretty level. But I thought I would start out here in the front. Oh, by the way, shout out to my boys MBen Society. Check them out on Instagram. The front. So anybody with a Mercedes, especially a 204, knows that our front ends kind of hang pretty low, you know, as it is. So if you lower your car, obviously you're gonna have, you know, a lower front end. And then if you're like me, you wanted a little bit the illusion of being lower, then you get a front lip, which obviously makes it even more lower. It's about a few inches. I mean, like, this is my hand right here off the ground, and as you can see, there's already some scratches on the front lip, because yeah, if you go lower, it's a given, it's inevitable that you're gonna maybe scratch it up a little bit. I have a good one right here. Oh man. But yeah, I don't know if you can really see that. But yeah, you can only see it on the bottom. So that's about how low it is in the front. Now here we are in the front wheel. Like I said, in the box it says 1.5 inch drop approximately, and it's about correct. It's a good approximation. So this is about like a finger gap in the front, which isn't too bad. Which I think is perfect, because if you have that front lip like I do, then it's definitely pretty low already. I wouldn't really consider my car low, but it's lowered. So yeah, about 1 finger gap in the front. Moving on to the rear. It's about the same, but there's definitely a little bit more, I think, finger gap. I think just due to the uneven surface on my backyard. But you can tell there's still a finger gap there. This is what it looks from behind. Again, no fender rolling or rubbing at all. Again, the front. And yeah, I really like this drop. Let me back up a little bit. I really like this drop. It's a great daily driver drop. It's nothing too low. Like I said, I wouldn't consider my car being low, but it's definitely lowered. It's a noticeable drop. And to those W204 owners who are considering the Super Sports, I would definitely recommend the 5mm spring pads for the rear, which just you get those from the factory. or the Mercedes-Benz dealer for about 20 bucks a piece, and it replaces the stock 15, or I think it's 12 millimeter, and you replace it with that 5 millimeter. It's about an 8 millimeter drop difference, more or less. And from what I've seen, it really makes a big difference. So if I were to do this again, the springs install, I would definitely go with the 5 millimeter spring pads in the rear, you know, because if I'm going to install the springs, might as well do that as well. All right, for this second part, I decided I'd take a little cruise around my area, talk about the ride quality. Ride quality, pretty simple. I'll keep it short. I mean, it's very comparable to stock. Remember, I have the 19-inch wheels, so that obviously will affect the ride quite a bit. And yeah, if you have 18s or even sticking with the 17s, I think the ride will just get more and more comfortable, because it's comparable to stock. It's not exactly like stock, but the first thing that I really noticed that was just really out there, that kind of, you know, once I brought the car out and started rolling, I felt how just a little softer, and that's as best as I can describe it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, the softness, but the softer ride does make for a little bit more bouncy ride. So what that means is if you're in on the highway, you know, you got those uneven roads, and you know, it'll just give it just that little bit more bounce than stock. And generally, if you're gonna lower your car, it's pretty much a given that you're gonna lose some sort of your ride comfort once you lower your car. It's definitely a given, but it's a nice daily driver feel. I'm still able to talk. The bouncy, or the softness, also makes for, you know, more feeling of the road. Although on stock suspension, you already have a good feeling. Like you'll feel the bumps, the cracks, the road imperfections. But with the softer ride on the springs, you'll just feel it even more. You know, just slightly more, maybe like 10 to 20% more than you do with stock suspension. So yeah, all in all, it's a really good daily driver suspension. If you're looking to duplicate my setup, like I said, I'm not rubbing, so if you duplicate my setup, then you can expect to have a pretty comfy ride and with no rubbing. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it, or at least got some useful information from it. I'm hoping to do some more of this in the future, so look out for those. But until then, my friends, have a good one.